Market Mantra. Market Mantra. Market Mantra. Market Mantra. Market Mantra. Market Mantra.
Welcome to Market Mantra, program in which we give you a complete update on the economic news of the day. I'm Arjun Chaudhary and with me is my co-anchor Vibhuti Mishra.
धन्यवाद अर्जुन। नमस्कार श्रोताओं, मार्केट मंत्र के आज के अंक में आपका स्वागत है। आधे घंटे के इस कार्यक्रम में हमेशा की तरह हम देश और दुनिया की चुनी हुई आर्थिक, कारोबारी और शेयर बाजार से संबंधित ताजा खबरें लेकर हाजिर हैं। हमारे साथ खबरों पर चर्चा के लिए स्टूडियो में आमंत्रित हैं आर्थिक मामलों के वरिष्ठ विश्लेषक हरवीर सिंह। हरवीर जी, कार्यक्रम में आपका स्वागत है।
धन्यवाद।
और अब अंग्रेजी में हेडलाइंस के साथ मौजूद हैं मेरे सहयोगी अर्जुन चौधरी।
Sensex and Nifty hit fresh all-time high. Sensex closes at 78,674 points. Nifty settles at 23,869. India records an average growth of 8.3% in the last 3 years, says RBI Governor Shaktikanta Das, and oil prices inching up toward their highest levels in the global commodity exchange.
घरेलू शेयर बाजार में सेंसेक्स और निफ्टी सर्वकालिक ऊंचाई पर पहुंचा। सेंसेक्स 78,674 और निफ्टी 23,869 पर बंद। भारतीय रिजर्व बैंक के गवर्नर शक्तिकांत दास ने कहा कि पिछले 3 सालों में भारत ने 8.3% की रिकॉर्ड औसत वृद्धि दर्ज की और अंतर्राष्ट्रीय बाजारों में पिछले 2 महीने में ब्रेंट कच्चे तेल की कीमतें अपने उच्चतम स्तर की ओर बढ़ रही हैं। और सबसे पहले शेयर बाजार का हाल। विदेशी संस्थागत निवेशकों की भारी खरीदारी से घरेलू शेयर बाजार के सेंसेक्स और निफ्टी आज 0.5% से अधिक मुनाफे में रहे। सेंसेक्स 621 अंक यानी 0.80% बढ़कर 78,674 पर बंद हुआ। निफ्टी 148 अंक यानी 0.62% बढ़कर 23,869 पर बंद हुआ। बीएसई के व्यापक बाजार में मिड कैप सूचकांक 0.29% की गिरावट दर्ज की गई, जबकि स्मॉल कैप सूचकांक में 0.15% की बढ़त दर्ज की गई है।
India's equity benchmark indices, Sensex and Nifty, rose by more than 0.5% today, aided by substantial buying from FIIs, the foreign institutional investors. Sensex rose by 621 points, 0.8%, to close at 78,674. Nifty gained by 148 points, 0.62%, to settle at 23,869. 296 companies hit their 52-week high. 25 hit their 52-week low in the Sensex. In the Nifty, 184 companies hit their 52-week high, 12 hit their 52-week low. In the broader market at the Bombay Stock Exchange, the mid-cap index was down by 0.29%, while the small-cap index rose by 0.15%. In the Sensex pack, 18 companies gained, 11 witnessed losses, while Infosys remained flat. The top 3 gainers today were Reliance, which gained by 4.09%, Bharti Airtel was up by 3.07%, and Ultra Tech Cement was up by 2.78%. Conversely, the 3 major laggards were Mahindra & Mahindra, which fell by 2.02%, Tata Steel by 1.79%, and Tech Mahindra, which fell by 1.1%. In the sectoral indices at the Bombay Stock Exchange, 10 out of 20 sectors logged gains. The top 3 gainers were telecommunications, which went up by 2.3%, energy was up by 1.545%, and oil and gas was up by 0.98%. Metal, whereas fell by 1.46%, realty fell by 1.42%, and auto fell by 0.75%, which were the only 2 laggards. The overall market breadth was negative. Out of 4,008 companies, the shares of 1,922 companies advanced, 1,960 companies declined, and 126 remain unchanged. Let's have a look now at how the rupee performed against the US dollar.
जी हाँ, अंतर बैंकिंग विदेशी मुद्रा बाजार में $1 के मुकाबले रुपया आज 83 रुपये 57 पैसे पर बंद हुआ। उधर दुनिया की 6 अन्य मुद्राओं की तुलना में डॉलर की मजबूती दर्शाने वाला सूचकांक अंतर दिवसीय कारोबार में 0.31% की बढ़त के साथ 105.93 के स्तर पर दर्ज हुआ है। हरवीर जी, लगातार 3 दिन शेयर बाजार में बढ़त, ऑल टाइम हाई कल भी देखा हमने, आज भी देख रहे हैं, क्या देखते हैं इसको आप?
देखिए, बाजार में लगातार बढ़त के एक तो यही है कि सकारात्मक संकेत जो इकोनॉमी के हैं और वो एक फैक्टर है, प्लस जो फॉरेन इन्वेस्टर्स हैं उनका इंटरेस्ट जाग गया है, काफी पैसा उन्होंने लगाया है जून में अगर आप देखें, और जो डोमेस्टिक इनफ्लो भी है जो एसआईपी के थ्रू, म्यूचुअल फंड्स के थ्रू जो आ रहा है, तो वो मार्केट में लगातार उसका फ्लो बढ़ रहा है। साथ में बजट के भी कुछ एक्सपेक्टेशन मार्केट को जो है फ्यूल कर रहे हैं उस तरीके से, क्योंकि लगातार रिकॉर्ड बन रहा है। हालांकि काफी मार्केट बढ़ा है, कल भी बढ़ा, आज भी बढ़ा, उसके पहले भी, और वैसे ही रिकॉर्ड नंबर, बिकॉज जितना बढ़ रहा है एक नया रिकॉर्ड आ रहा है। तो ये उस तरह से कई सारे फैक्टर मिलकर के उसको उस तरीके से बढ़ा रहे हैं मार्केट।
तो जो आकर्षण है जो विदेशी निवेशक हैं उसके पीछे आप किन कारणों को देखते हैं?
देखिए, उनको लगता है कि अब मार्केट में उनको इन्वेस्ट करने का बेनिफिट है। अगर हम देखें तो 1-1.5 महीना पहले उन्होंने विड्रॉ भी किया था मार्केट से।
जी
सो देखिए, ये जो मार्केट में जो फॉरेन इन्वेस्टमेंट है, दैट इज क्लियरली उनके अपने कैलकुलेशन है कहाँ उनको एंट्री करने के बाद बेनिफिट्स है, और उसका जो भी उनका एनालिसिस है या जो उनका अपना जो इंडिकेटर्स वो मेजर करते हैं उसके लिए, इट गोज अराउंड दैट। बट डेफिनेटली ये है कि अगर हमारे इकोनॉमिक इंडिकेटर्स अच्छे हैं और प्रोस्पेक्ट्स अच्छे हैं इकोनॉमी के, तो उसके चलते ही मार्केट में लोगों का इंटरेस्ट बढ़ता है, वो डोमेस्टिक भी और जो फॉरेन इन्वेस्टर्स हैं उनका।
और दूसरी तरफ क्या आप यह भी देखते हैं कि कहीं न कहीं से अब ये भी दिख रहा है, जो परिदृश्य है, सरकार पूरी तरह स्थिर है, मजबूत है, और बाजार को जो है इसको लेकर के काफी संभावनाएं हैं, और ये भी एक आप देखते हैं वजह?
देखिए, जाहिर सी बात है कि बाजार एक तरीके के जो सेंटिमेंट्स हैं उनका काफी बड़ी भूमिका बाजार में रहती है। पिछले दिनों चुनाव हुए, चुनाव के नतीजे आए, अब एक गठबंधन सरकार है, और जो गठबंधन सरकार है उसके पास बहुमत का आंकड़ा अच्छा है, उनके अपने जो अलाइज हैं वो स्ट्रांग है। तो उसके चलते जो बाजार के विश्लेषक जो राजनीतिक जोखिम की बात करते हैं, बिकॉज जो पॉलिटिकल रिस्क है वो भी एक बड़ा रहता है, ग्लोबली उसको भी एक मेजरमेंट की तरह से रखा जाता है, तो उनको नहीं लगता है कि स्टेबल गवर्नमेंट है। बजट को लेकर के इसलिए कि बिकॉज गवर्नमेंट है, बट ये है कि उनके पास लिक्विडिटी अच्छी है। पिछले दिनों जो आरबीआई ने पैसा गवर्नमेंट को देने का अपना फैसला लिया है, उसके चलते गवर्नमेंट के पास कैपिटल इन्वेस्टमेंट और खर्चा करने का थोड़ा खुला हाथ है इस बार, और उसके चलते लगता है कि जब सरकार पैसा खर्च करेगी तो जो इकोनॉमी का जो साइकिल है उसमें थोड़ा स्पीड आएगी, लोगों के हाथ में पैसा जाएगा, उनको इनकम होगी, और उसका एक जो हम बोलते हैं कि जब गवर्नमेंट का जो एक्सपेंसेस होते हैं फिर प्राइवेट सेक्टर ऑल्सो फॉलो दैट, तो उसके एडवांटेज होंगे और ओवरऑल इकोनॉमी बेहतर होगी, तो उसका फायदा बाजार के जो इन्वेस्टर्स हैं उनको लगता है। लेकिन बहुत कुछ हमें देखना है कि अभी हम वेट कर रहे हैं मॉनसून की प्रोग्रेस का, और इंडियन इकोनॉमी का एक बड़ा इंडिकेटर होता है सामान्य मॉनसून। तो ये मॉनसून बेहतर रहे तो जो बाजार के जो एक्सपेक्टेशन है, क्योंकि जो फोरकास्ट है आईएमडी का वो तो सामान्य मॉनसून का है, बट अभी थोड़ा सा वेट करने का समय है, अगले एक आध हफ्ता।
So you feel that the expectations of the government in terms of its fiscal policy during the budget, what it's going to spend on, like on electronics, because imports have to a great extent been restricted from China. You feel that those companies, those type of companies, those sectors, industries will benefit. And right now, companies and the investors are building up positions in the market in terms of share acquisition, which will likely go up later. You think there's speculative build up right now? I think that's what my co-anchor is basically asking, because of the speed with which valuations have gone up.
Yes, basically I agree with you. The way market is going up, definitely there is some speculation in the market and so on, based on some expectations also. So and you see that when government has good leeway, revenue is going up, GST numbers are good. Non tax revenue is also coming, not from disinvestment or so, but it's coming from RBI. So definitely a good fiscal uh, condition of government finances is always good, because it is less inflationary, and it gives an opportunity to invest more and to create more market.
If you look at profitability ratios, just for the benefit of our listeners, your typical investor looking at return ratios. What's the return on equity, for instance? But if you look at companies fundamentally in terms of what their margins are, do you think sales volumes have actually come down, or have they gone up, or are they looking to basically cut costs and improve their net profits? Is that fundamentally what the figures the FIIs and DIIs are looking at in order to bet on valuations?
Yes, always one of the most important factor is PE ratio, and in that case, a lot of stocks are inflated. I can say again, because market demand is not reviving the way we want. Rural demand is not reviving, to be frank.
Mid
And
cap is very
yeah,
high; it's more than 40.
more than 40, but in recent rally we are seeing that it is not going high like large caps and all, or blue chip companies are number is increasing. And sometimes you see then there is a uh, push from the investors on some stocks, but not necessary that fundamentally companies are so strong, or the profitability or the market size or their numbers are going like that. And in many companies, definitely there is some inflated valuation of the stocks. And we should not forget that SEBI and RBI also continuously giving a statement that we have investors should be very cautious at the same time. So and speculative market is not good, but definitely because market regulator is doing a good job, so investors should not be worried a lot about that. But any individual investor must look whenever he or she is investing in any stock. It is not necessary that one should go in the flow of the market rally.
So you think the small investors are right now speculating in the F&O market, just looking at price movements, whether going up and down, or looking at the Nifty index for that matter, not so much investment in the cash market. I think that's where the FIIs and DIIs are heavily invested. What is your advice to small investors who are tuned into Market Mantra and have been tuned in for a long time? Do you feel that maybe they should go in for derivatives at this stage, or you think they should wait for understanding what the fundamentals of a company and then investing in the cash market?
My advice is that small investors should not play the game of F&O. They should not go in these options. They must remain invested into good companies and based on their own good information, as well as they can rely on mutual fund route, because there are good investment advisors and experts, those who look into the number of the companies. It is again, I'm saying that one should not be going just with the flow of the market. Any investor should look his investment opportunity as well as the cost and the leverage he or she can.
But they're also borrowing in order to invest. The margin requirements are there.
That's why if sometime when market is going up and you are more and more investing in the market and you are borrowing money, one should also look into that calculation. You are borrowing from some institution or some banks, investing there, whether what is the result of that. If you are even gaining on that side after investing and borrowed money investing in the market, but one has to have a cautious approach into that.
अभी अर्जुन से आप बात कर रहे थे और बातचीत के क्रम में आपने पीई रेशियो की बात की थी। अक्सर क्या होता है कि लोग इस तरह के सवाल करते हैं कि भाई कहाँ निवेश करूं, क्या करूं, नहीं करूं। पीई रेशियो के बारे में थोड़ा सा हमारे श्रोताओं को समझाइए, कहाँ वो चेक करें, क्या तरीका है और कितना महत्वपूर्ण है।
देखिए जो कंपनी के रिजल्ट्स हैं वो तो वहीं से उनको देखना होगा कि शेयर का वैल्यूएशन क्या है, कंपनी किस तरीके से ग्रो कर रही है, पर शेयर किस तरह के अर्निंग्स हैं और रेवेन्यू क्या है, उसके बाद आपका प्रॉफिट क्या है, नेट प्रॉफिट्स क्या है और ग्रोथ क्या है कंपनी के नंबर्स की और उनका जो बिजनेस है उसकी, ये सारा बिकॉज ये मैंडेटरी भी है, सारी लिस्टेड कंपनीज को अपना जो रिजल्ट्स हैं वो पब्लिश करना होता है। तो और वो उनकी साइट पर जाकर देख सकते हैं, एमसीए के यहाँ देख सकते हैं। सो ये थोड़ा सा जरूरी नहीं कि क्योंकि इसीलिए ये माना जाता है कि जो छोटे इन्वेस्टर हैं उनको म्यूचुअल फंड रूट लेना चाहिए, क्योंकि कोई भी इन्वेस्टर का कभी एक तो ये भी होता है कि उनके पास इतना टाइम या इतना एक्सपर्टीज नहीं होता कि वो नंबर्स को ठीक से एनालाइज कर पाए और उसके आधार पर आगे का एक अपना रोड मैप उनको दिखे और वो अपना डिसीजन ले पाए। तो इसीलिए वन नीड ए गुड एडवाइजर।
Well, let's have a look at the second headline story now. India is moving ahead towards sustained GDP growth of 8%, said Governor of the Reserve Bank of India, Mr. Shaktikanta Das, addressing the 188th Annual General Meeting of the Bombay Chamber of Commerce and Industry. The RBI Governor said India is at the cusp of a major structural shift. Speaking about India's average growth record, the governor said that if you look at the average growth India recorded over the last 3 years, the average comes to 8.3%. In the current year, we have given a projection of 7.2% growth. Highlighting India's contribution to the global economy last year, he said the Indian economy in the last financial year contributed to 18.5% of the global growth. That is, 18.5% of the global growth was driven by India. It is an achievement. It was much lower 7 or 8 years ago, and I think the IMF projects this growth to go up. The RBI governor said implementation of GST, the insolvency and bankruptcy code, and flexible inflation targeting are the major drivers of this growth. Productivity, as far as India is concerned, leads to higher GDP. That's the fundamentals of economics. And how do you see the budget driving productivity in the market right now? Do you feel that there's going to be more Atmanirbhar Bharat, that type of policy being driven, so that we don't rely on imports, domestic companies being encouraged to manufacture MSMEs? You feel that is what will drive GDP?
Actually, you see, GDP has different components. Service sectors, manufacturing, it is agriculture. So till your manufacturing and agriculture will not revive or will not have a good share in the growth, we have to focus more and more on this sector. Definitely, service sector is a big sector now in the economy and providing a lot of job and export opportunities and driving the growth of the economy. But we have to focus on manufacturing also, because more and more job will also come from manufacturing. And as you were talking about the Atmanirbhar Bharat, without a strong manufacturing base, now it's not Atmanirbhar Bharat. Now people are talking the world's factory or world's manufacturing hub. Can India become the manufacturer of the world like it's China a few decades back?
China plus FDI.
Yeah, so in that case, because even many big companies are looking a new base out of China also at the same time, and we have seen in COVID days that supply chain is a very crucial component for the growth of any economy as well as the global economy and for any company. Now those days are over when everything you are manufacturing at one place for your own final products. So now it's a supply chain economy now. So in that case, India is gaining. Definitely, India is gaining. But we have to have more and more focus on our manufacturing sector, because still manufacturing sector is just giving around 12% of the job. But agriculture is giving 45% of the job as per the latest survey of the government institutions. So, but agriculture is just still around 18%. And the growth was just, the GVA was 1.4% in the last fiscal, but economy was growing at 7.2% of GVA. So this, we have to correct this balance. So that will be the good. And as I said, that productivity will come from there only. And I think the government will focus more and more on to create more jobs now. There is a pressure on the government to create more jobs. So, and it is good also because it becomes an equitable economy and society when more people are well employed. They have good opportunity to earn, their life becomes better, they also contribute back to the economy. So it's a big task, but we have to go that side.
How do you see, since inflation, credit or repo rate is linked with the inflation by the RBI, how do you see the repo rate coming down in its monetary policy by the central bank so that the cost of credit comes down, because that ultimately benefits not only industry but the consumer also?
Yes, the cost of credit is always crucial for the growth of the economy. But since I think since 23 February, RBI is keeping the rates at the same level.
6.5%.
Yes, not changing, because the first preference was to control the inflation. Inflation has come down, definitely below 5%, but still the food inflation is very high. It is more than 8%. The food grain inflation is more than 10% as per the latest data in May CPI data. And that's why even in this maybe yesterday or so, in a statement, RBI governor admitted that any extreme weather event can affect our inflation strategy. So that's why monsoon is very crucial for us. So because that is the reason behind RBI is keeping the policy rates unchanged. But now I think there is a now opinion that without just confining to keep inflation in that 4% plus minus 2 range, despite that there is an opportunity to reduce the policy rate. So let us see in the next monetary policy meeting what kind of decision RBI takes.
Well, let's have a look at the Asian and the European markets now.
तो सभी प्रमुख एशियाई सूचकांक आज सकारात्मक रुख के साथ बंद हुए। जापान का निक्केई 1.26%, चीन का शंघाई कंपोजिट इंडेक्स 0.76%, दक्षिण कोरिया का कोस्पी 0.64%, सिंगापुर का स्टेट्स टाइम्स 0.16% और हांगकांग का हैंगसेंग 0.09% बढ़त के साथ बंद हुए। यूरोपीय बाजार में अंतिम समाचार मिलने तक आज सभी प्रमुख सूचकांक गिरावट के साथ कारोबार कर रहे थे। फ्रांस का कैक 0.76%, जर्मनी का डेक्स 0.13%, लंदन का फुटसी 0.19% की गिरावट के साथ कारोबार कर रहे थे। हरवीर जी, भारत को जोड़कर एशिया के सभी बाजार आज काफी अच्छे काम किया इन्होंने। फिर वहीं यूरोप में हमने देखा कि जो ये है गिरावट है। फिर वहीं आप यूएस में जाएंगे तो वहां भी मिक्स्ड है। तो क्या दिखते हैं इसको?
नहीं, देखिए इसमें अगर आप देखें कोई ग्लोबल फैक्टर तो ऐसा अभी इमीडिएट तो नहीं है जो कि इस तरह से मार्केट को ड्राइव करे। डेफिनेटली ये मार्केट स्पेसिफिक जो परफॉर्मेंस है वो इसमें दिखती है।
Well, let's have a look at the US market now. US stock market extended a mixed performance on Tuesday with the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq adding gains, snapping a 3-day losing streak, while the Dow Jones dropped. The Dow settled with a loss of 0.76%. The Nasdaq climbed 1.26%, while the S&P 500 ended up by 0.39%. So apart from the Dow, the Nasdaq went up and the S&P 500. Nasdaq specifically, you have US companies like Nvidia, which have a valuation of more than $3 trillion. There seems to be a minor correction for Nvidia right now, if you're specifically talking about this chip manufacturing company. So why are the valuations going up so much as far as the US stock market is concerned?
No, you see this IT-based companies, and Nvidia is the company which is manufacturing chips for AI, and one of the biggest manufacturer for that, and value for Nvidia shot up like anything and become a precious company. I think the highest valued company in the world, even left Microsoft and all behind. But there is correction is coming for that because again because some more and more rally into the particular stocks. So and maybe definitely that these AI chips are very crucial for the global economy now, and this company is the major supplier of that. But other companies are also coming in competition.
But it seems to be speculation for valuation purposes. If you compare it to companies like Microsoft and Apple, they have the sales volume to back their valuation, unlike Nvidia. So there seems to be a lot of build-up even in the US market.
Yes, actually, this tendency is in any stock market you can find about the company, that kind of tendency, because everybody wants to share the pie. Whenever it is going up and up, everybody wants to have an intention to enter into that stock and to take the benefit out of that.
The US dollar index is also going up. It's more than 106 right now, despite gold prices going up per troy ounce. The US dollar index has not come down. In fact, it's just been going up.
So it is an indication that there is more and more demand for dollar in the world.
And why is that the case?
No, actually, it may be some trade cycle or so, and because right now we don't see any geopolitical issue suddenly that it is affecting to that. It doesn't look like that. But and even but at U.S. economy, there was also inflationary pressure, but that is getting eased, and I think the prospects are better. That may be one of the indication from that.
You think the Federal Reserve will cut the discount rate, the repo rate, as in the US?
There is a speculation and expectation. I can't say speculation, but expectation is there, because when inflation pressure is low and economy is doing well, so but let us see, because globally all the central banks and markets looks towards the Fed for this change.
Well, the US market is not affected by geopolitics, but the European markets are. Today the stock market fell there.
Maybe some European issue may be there.
The Russia-Ukraine war.
Russia-Ukraine war is not it's not a factor like that now when it started, and I think more than 2 years now it is going.
Well, let's have a look at the crude oil market now. Oil prices inched up today, nearing the highest level in almost 2 months, driven by forecasts for an eventual inventory drawdown during the third quarter, peak summer demand season, and geopolitical risks from the Middle East conflict. Brent crude was up by 0.47% to $85.41 per barrel. The US West Texas Intermediate WTI crude rose by 0.56% to $81.28 per barrel when reports last came in. You feel demand has gone up, not matching supplies, because the US earlier with the SPR managed to stabilize prices under Joe Biden. You feel that once again the oil prices are rearing its head?
As you mentioned, that if demand is going up and market supply is not matching that, the prices for crude will go. And US always plays important role into that, whether they increase the supply from the reserve or not. And main major producer countries always want that they should earn more from the oil, and all these factors are affecting. And if the energy demand is going up, economies are growing, so demand is going up and prices will go up.
Give us something about Saudi Aramco. I mean, they have made more than $860 billion in the last 6, 7, 8 years. But Saudi Arabia is under some financial distress as well because of their infrastructure projects. To what extent do you feel, as an OPEC nation, Saudi controls the cartel market?
Basically, Saudi controls and other OPEC member are also basically do this kind of decision whether they want to increase the supply or not, and at what level they need to keep the supply. But definitely, Saudi is investing huge in infrastructure. They want to enter in a new kind of economy, not depending completely on oil.
और एमसीएक्स में आज सोने और चांदी की कीमतें मिली जुली हैं। अगस्त अनुबंध के लिए अंतिम समाचार मिलने तक सोना 0.13% की गिरावट के साथ 71,372 रुपये प्रति 10 ग्राम पर कारोबार कर रहा था, जबकि जुलाई अनुबंध वाली चांदी 0.13% बढ़कर 87,054 रुपये प्रति किलोग्राम पर कारोबार कर रही थी। वैश्विक बाजारों में कॉमेक्स पर अंतिम समाचार मिलने तक दिन के कारोबार में सोना 0.25% की गिरावट के साथ $2,325 प्रति औंस पर कारोबार कर रहा था, जबकि चांदी 0.18% की बढ़त के साथ $29.25 प्रति औंस पर कारोबार कर रही थी।
Well, it's time for us to thank Harveer Singh for being with us on Market Mantra and sharing his views about the market performance today. Thank you. And before we close, a reminder of the headlines. The Sensex and Nifty hit fresh all-time highs. The Sensex closes at 78,674. Nifty settles at 23,869. India records an average growth of 8.3% in the last 3 years, says RBI Governor Shaktikanta Das. and oil prices inching up toward the highest levels in the global commodity exchange. And that's it in this edition of Market Mantra for now. Goodbye.
नमस्कार.
Market Mantra. Market Mantra. Market Mantra.